Hey guys, welcome back to my newest painting video. I had 8 days to finish this painting before the deadline of a themed gallery show that I wanted to submit her into. She still felt really raw and blocky, and I knew I had a lot of work to do before she felt truly done to me. And since I only have a small amount of time each day that I can dedicate to painting, it felt like a really extra big challenge. I struggled to know what I wanted the finished result of the painting to look like, especially with the background. Like, I wanted to challenge myself to keep it simple with just a simple colored background, but I just couldn't settle on that. And I really feel like if I knew what I wanted to do before I started in on this, I wouldn't have had to go back and forth quite so much. I feel like it would have been a smoother process, but figuring it out as I go along is my most common approach to making art, and changing that approach feels like it would have been too many uncertain variables and no room for comfort, like the part where I'm rushing to finish something for a deadline that isn't commission-based. It feels like I can only handle so many new things at a time, so it's best to be realistic, honestly. Plus, I feel like pushing myself to try too many new things at once rushes me towards burnout, so trying one at a time seems like a better approach for me. Anyway, back to the painting. I loved incorporating this moody, rainy, sunsetty background with the rainbow. I couldn't settle on the background I liked originally and was going to challenge myself to keep it a simple flat color instead, but I'm glad I did, and it feels more balanced now. I revisited her face pretty often during this process. I was working to build up layers like you would with makeup, kind of like if you're doing contour and blush and, adding your highlights at the end. I realized it was more time intensive this way, but it made it easier for me to figure out what I was doing since I wasn't working with a reference during that part of the painting. I admit I can be stubborn. I might try mapping it out with more dark tones, mid-tones, and highlights in future paintings, especially if I'm using a reference. So it should be a quicker, smoother process and perhaps a bit more realistic too, but I do like doing it this way. It feels freeing and less restrictive, and I feel like I just flow with it a lot more too. I mean, isn't that satisfying, or is that just me? Oh yeah, smooth that rouge, girl. I'm so sorry for that. Okay, silliness aside for a moment, I wanted to talk about one of the biggest challenges with this painting. For me, it was the fact that I didn't know if I would get into the show I was painting it for, So there was a lot of uncertainty there, and it almost felt like I was painting blindly, but for the intent of finishing it for the show rather than for the deep joy of just doing it, of making something, I'm sure there will be a future time where I paint something for a submission again, but I hope to remember this rushed feeling and try to give myself more time to enjoy it too, instead of just scrambling to finish it before the deadline. She did turn out nicely for all of that though, I think. And I really did enjoy working on her throughout the rushed feeling at the end of the deadline. 8 days went quicker than I ever imagined they would. I loved working on all the lovely, nitty-gritty, colorful details. It truly made my heart sing. If I had to choose, I probably liked working on the wings the most. Adding in feathers and being more loose with the brush strokes and movements, but still including the tight line work and details was so fun, especially with such a different subject matter for me, being the wings and feathers. But it's been a goal to paint more birds since they are my favorite, so I suppose this is just an entry piece into that realm of more avian-inspired paintings. Yay for birds! I admit, though, that if I didn't have the pressing deadline, I don't think I would have gotten as far as I did. Having that final push of days rather than the weeks it may have taken me was a huge motivator. Even though I did push against it, I still did it. I'm not cheering on my procrastination or anything, but I do see that my behavior shifted in order to finish this painting. However, it's hard to say if I think she's fully complete though, like her soul just isn't quite there yet or something. I definitely feel like I could work on her some more, but I am happy with how far I made it, and I am excited about this new revelation in understanding my process a little bit more. I know this video was more on the unorganized, rambling side, but I'm happy you made it this far. Side note, I started using social media again to post my artwork, so if you'd like to follow me, my Instagram is @BryShantiArt, and my website is bry-la-art.com. briannaart.weebly.com. I promise I'll get a domain name soon. But you will find my portfolio and shop there. The rest of my links can be found in the description of this video or in my bio. Thanks for being here, and I hope you have the most incredible creative day. And here she is in her final photographed glory. Bye!